It's like, am I willing to work more than 5 days a week, more than 8 hours a day to see this dream get off the ground? And am I willing to do 7 days a week, 17, 18, 19 hours a day, which I did for a long time? And that kind of takes me back to the Roy story. When I left, I was working, my wife came into the house and
This is
nobody's,
Roy's
this is
fire
when I was
department.
working for Roy Fire.
Yeah.
She said, hey, by the way, no one said hi. Like I got back from my Kentucky office, I had my luggage, and the only person in the whole, and I say this person in jest, but that said hi to me was my dog. He came running up and wagging his tail, but no one else took their ear pods out. No one said hello. My wife's mopping the floor. I'm like, well, hello, aren't you guys going to have like a party? Because I'm here. And they're like, my wife pulled her ear pod out. She's like, well, if you want attention and you want people to say hi and you want to be a dad, then be one. You've been gone 520 hours this month. Like you have been working. And I'm like, no, I haven't. Keeping track of that. And sure as heck, she did. She brought out her journal and she wrote down all the hours I worked every single day. I'm like, holy crap. And she, by the way, it had been for years.
Mm.
She goes, you work at Leighton Fire, you work at Roy Fire, you're doing concrete, you're doing tile, you're doing every side job on the planet, and you're doing Murphy Door. Like, when does the family become a priority? Which we can get into a whole other topic on work-life balance. But at the same time, it woke me up a little bit. I'm like, okay, I did make a commitment of $400,000 a month, and we have trended that for the last 90 or 180 days or something. I guess it is time to just pull one of the patches. And I quit the fire department the next day, post a conversation with my chief that made a lot of sense. So I left, which was probably still the hardest thing because I still love that. It's my favorite job I've ever had, hands down.
And that conversation with your chief was the kind of solar system.
Yeah. Isn't
Right?
that crazy one? It's a
Can you
beautiful story.
can
Yeah.
you tell it? Yeah.
So Chief Polson at the time, a wonderful person as a human, not my favorite chief, but he was a great, and he's very smart, and he's raised some amazing kids. But he brought out 3 rocks and he set them on the driveway. He said, hey, this is Jeremy's universe. He put a big, huge rock. When I say big, huge, softball size rock out. He said, this is you and your family. This is your universe. The next rock was like half that size. He goes, that's Murphy Door. And then he put this little teeny pebble, and he goes, this is Roy Fire. And he says, because Roy Fire is, 48 on, or excuse me, 24 on, 24 off for 4 days. And then you have 4 days off and then you do it again. And then you have 6 days. So it's called the modified Kelly schedule at the time. He goes, they depict where you have to be when you have to be. And these other things are just, they get the secondary process or time that's left. And it works this way. And he goes, so basically every minute that you steal to work extra hours at the fire department or extra hours at Murphy Door comes from the heaviest, most important part, center of your universe. And he goes, and if you don't redirect that and put it to the center on the heavyweight and work backwards, then that you can't have a solar system spin without it throwing the weight of your family. And unfortunately, your family is going to be the thing that suffers and gets thrown out of your universe. So those were all kind of congruent. You got a frustrated wife, which was a verbal explanation of how my weight is going to be tossed out the window tomorrow if I don't fix some stuff.
Yeah.
And then the other side was, okay, yeah, Roy Fire's the least paying. And again, it was like that. I used that aluminum safety blanket, like those emergency blankets you can buy for $2 to survive a ice storm or whatever. It offered me health insurance and it offered me dental and vacation and some safety nets, but the paychecks weren't great. But the feeling of the family and what you were doing felt great.
Yeah.
So you were kind of torn between, does money really matter? Which I can argue that it doesn't. It's not as important as you think it is. And you hear that from every rich person. I get that.
Yeah.
But it truly is not. Like, I would just wish I could teach people in some magic way that money is superficial and it feels like it's the solution, but it's far from. You know what I mean? But it took me to figure that out.
Yeah. You kind of have to make it before you can say
feel
that with
it.
conviction.
Yeah, and have people, of course, everybody's on the inside. What a dick. Like, if I only could say that. I get it. I understand. I've been in your shoes. I get that.
Kind of round out the moral of the story on the solar system thing. If Roy Fire, which is the smallest pebble, is in the middle, meaning it's the sun, and all the other planets are rotating around it, it doesn't have enough emotional weight and like
To hold the rest
spiritual
together.
significance to you to hold the rest in rotation there.
It's true. And in some people that is, but ultimately, regardless, no matter how we look at it, the family core unit, whether you're married or it's your immediate family or whatever, should stay your core. Like, that's really what this all is about.